Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Summers, and welcome to the audio edition of Mind, Body, Soul. Today, my guest is a holistic health practitioner, a naturotherapist with the Academy of Naturopaths and Naturotherapists of Canada, and founder of Meridian Health and Wellness in St. John's. Pam is passionate. Pam is a passionate mental health advocate and mompreneur who believes in whole body holistic health for all and for the long term. Pam's entry into better health was sparked by motherhood. She started applying the care she gave to her children to herself first with physical health and realized just how interconnected mental health and physical health are. She firmly believes that by addressing the mental, physical, and spiritual elements of the self, both the yin and yang sides of life are what teaches us balance. One is not better than the other. She has a passion for helping others overcome doubt, unhealthy patterns, and improving mental health. In addition to the numerous holistic healing modalities offered through Meridian, she's a public speaker, wellness presenter, personal development coach, self-care program facilitator, and has offered wellness retreats both privately and corporately. From overcoming her own depression and anxiety, from winning awards in bodybuilding to opening a private health clinic and everything in between, Pam's personal touch and transparency with her own journey of self-discovery and mastery speaks to many on a variety of levels. I could read out Pam's certifications and credentials, but we'd be out of time. So it might be easier just to tell everybody what she doesn't have, and that's pretty well nothing. Following our passion of growth and to reach as many people as possible, Meridian has just launched a brand new edition, the Meridian Virtual Membership Program, and I'm sure Pam will talk to that later in the program. Knowledge, nurture, nature, connection, consistency are key. Now, all the information is there on the program, on the video link there. If you want to take Pam's phone numbers, emails, the membership to this new program, and her website, they're certainly there. Welcome, Pamela Martin McDonald.
Thank you, Gary. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. It's great to have you. I know we've been touching base back and forth for a long time, and I really wanted to sit down and talk to you because with all the other people, the wellness experts that we have, I know there's something valuable that you have to impart to our customers. And the whole idea of when I had my radio show, and again, now continuing with this, is to introduce people to wellness experts in the province that many people don't even know exist. So this Mind, Body, Soul is growing every day, and I have to say I'm very pleased with the number of people who actually listen in to these interviews every single week. So just to get started, Pam, just explain what is Meridian Health and Wellness, so our listeners can get a good understanding of what it is.
Okay, well, that's a great question. Meridian Health and Wellness is sort of like my baby. This business, and I still kind of hate to say business because it's such a passionate and it's a real genuine feeling that I have, and it's aligned with what I've been doing with myself. So this started about 8 years ago after my second child was born, and I decided that I needed to do something for myself to get myself out of a funk. And that started with doing, like what you mentioned in the bio, with some physical exercise. Now, I had never been one to be involved in any sports. I did a little bit of cheerleading, but even then I was a pretty shy cheerleader. But I knew after I had my kids, every day seemed like Groundhog Day, and I was in a funk. So I decided to look at what I could do. And so I started going with the stroller, pushing that up Signal Hill, just to try to challenge myself to do something to get out of the repetitive thought loops that I was having. And I wasn't sleeping and all that type of stuff. So at the time I didn't really know it, but I was beginning this journey of retraining my own brain. And with that, I decided to continue on with that exercise because I was actually pretty good at it when it came to the self-discipline and finding the time and all that stuff. And I became, through the jigs and reels of it, a personal trainer and learned how to use the equipment in the gym because I decided to just go out on a limb and become a contestant in a local bodybuilding show. So with that, I decided, you know what, maybe I'll teach a few classes here or there, because I had some other moms in the area that were wondering what I was up to.
Mm-hmm.
And so it started from that. So it's been everything that I've done to kind of get myself on track has essentially turned into learning about that particular thing that I was doing for me, because I wanted to know how I could first help myself and have that impact on my family, and then maybe I'd utilize these skills into helping others.
So there's two things that really jump out to me when you say that. And number one is to get yourself out of a funk. And I wonder how many people who are listening to this right now can identify to that. Groundhog Day. What is this all that I have in life? Is this all that I have to look forward to? I mean, this is pretty boring. And because I always say when I teach my cycling classes, you have to have a reason to get out of bed in the morning. You have to be passionate about something. You have to find something. And the other thing that you mentioned, and a lot of people say this to me, I'm too old. I've been like this all my life. I don't think I can ever change. And I think our listeners need to understand there's a really interesting term called neuroplasticity, which neuroscientists have proven that you can actually change how your brain functions. You don't have to continue to be doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So this is very timely. And of course, when people are coming up with New Year's resolutions, and you know what it's like, you go to the gym, you see people for 2 or 3 weeks, and then that's enough of that. It's time to go back to the old grind. So tell us how Meridian Health and Wellness came to be.
Well, so with this, I didn't know at the time when I was feeling like I was in this funk, but I had these 2 kids and I wanted to be a mom. I figured that was going to be my thing to shine. I wanted to be the best for them, but I just found it to be such a struggle to be my best. I was wondering what was going on. Why was I feeling so heavy? And I feel that, the people who surrounded me, they did their best, but they didn't quite know. I didn't quite know what was going on. And there's a little bit of this assumption that the strong people, the positive people are okay. Because we keep trying to do what we think is the best thing. We want to be appreciative. We want to be positive. But at the same time, I couldn't articulate what was going on. I thought that I was just doing motherhood wrong. And
Sure.
I was feeling so guilty. So I kept doing as much as I could. And with this exercise idea, it was so out of my realm, but it was something that I could do that I got results out of, because every day, like I said, with being home with the kids and my husband being away and just trying to figure out this motherhood and wife thing, and trying to do the homemade baby food and the breastfeeding and everything else, I just felt like every day was the same. So this gave me something, and it kind of sparked. I said, if I have this passion to have healthy kids and give them my all, I need to be the best version of me for them. I didn't know how I was going to make that happen. I didn't know why I was finding it so hard and not feeling joyful like all the rest of the moms around me. But I found this exercise thing was kind of like a light. It was something, and I was actually getting a result, a tangible result, and I was overcoming a perception that I had about myself and limitations. It's like I mentioned, I never did anything like that. I didn't even know how to play basketball. I stood away from anything because my confidence wasn't there.
Sure.
So this was a way, I guess at the time, I didn't quite know it, but I was using visualization. I was repeating mantras in my mind to help get myself psyched up to do this big thing. So intuitively, I was doing these things, but I didn't know it was an actual thing. I just felt, God, I need to do a lot of work on myself in order to do the thing. But
Mhm.
now I understand that that is an actual process. So I'm through this whole journey, I'm realizing what I bring to the table and how delicate of a process it is. But at the same time, it's certainly possible. So I wanted to learn even more, because once I'm into something, I'm there 110%. So that's when I decided, you know what, I have to learn how to use this equipment at the gym. Well, and other ladies that I know are asking me what I'm doing, and I seem to be doing it okay. So that's when the personal trainer thing came on. So then I started teaching the classes. But at the same time, I was winning awards in a couple of different federations here and in Ontario. And, I did 4 different categories and, bringing home the trophies and all that stuff. But there was still something not quite connected. My thoughts were still going. I still had a lot of pressure on myself. There was a misalignment. And that's when I decided to try meditation on for size.
Okay.
And that was only because my back went out.
Sure. Well, we all
And
need
I
sometimes
exhausted
a big reason to
every
do it.
possible thing that I could do. And then it started to come in, okay, the mind, body, what's going on in your mind comes out physically. So some of these dots started to come together, and I never wanted anything to do with yoga, because if I had a little bit of time to myself, I needed to go hard. I didn't want to go to yoga. But so yoga came to me. I guess it came when I was ready.
And
And
now
that's
you
the
got
type of,
your 200-hour certification completed.
that was the latest one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been a very parallel journey. I wanted to get my own, I wanted to, walk the walk as well as talk the talk. And I really wanted to inform myself, educate myself, do the best I could with myself, because we all impact those around us. And we cannot change others. We can only work on ourselves and then the impact that that has. So, in the beginning of this interview, we talked about trying to connect at a few different times. And I felt like, you know what, I could go on, but I know it's not authentic yet.
Sure.
Yeah. I have more work to do myself yet. And there's a discernment that I've also learned between taking the risk and just going for it. But then there's an inner knowing. You just know. It's different between staying inside your comfort zone and not going out there. There's an inner knowing. And this whole journey of the challenges and putting myself out there and really digging deep and doing the hard work has helped me to tune into that discernment and what is true to me on a pace that works for me. So this time around,
You're ready.
I felt so ready.
It
Yeah.
it certainly sounds like it. So one of the things and that you brought up, and which I think is a really important point for our listeners to take, is that you and everyone needs to understand that we're all only one decision away from changing our life. That's all, just one decision away, and that can be either direction. And you said all you knew is that you wanted to be the best version of yourself. Now, you didn't know how you were going to be the best version of yourself, but you made the decision that you were going to be the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say to people, we have one shot at this. We really have one shot. So wouldn't it be better if you made that the best shot you could? A lot of people want to be successful. They don't know how they're going to be successful, but they made the decision that they're going to be successful. So Pam, that's a really good point. Is it all starts with that initial decision of wanting to be the best version of yourself. What are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about helping people find their own inner power, because we can take on mindsets of others, especially as children. And my focus is on the nervous system, because I had to work on my own nervous system. I had to clear from the bottom up. And when the nervous system is healthy, the rest can come. But we have to get to the root of the issues. And that is very fragile, and that takes time. And you need support to do that. So I like to go there. And even when I was doing my physical fitness coaching, that was one thing that I think really stood apart, because it wasn't just come into my class, sweat, and go. When the ladies would come to me, I always wanted to have a few minutes with them. We do like a baseline and kind of see where they were with their physical health or mental health. I have these level check kind of thing, for lack of a better word, a benchmark. That's what it is, of your perceived level of joy and your perceived level of exertion and all that type of stuff. It was always a whole body total thing. And even the original name of my business was Strength for Life. It was never just fitness. It was strength for life, for the long haul, in all areas of life. I never wanted to pinpoint it on one thing. So it's really about helping people to break away from the exterior and to get into what's really going on. So as I was mentioning with those clients, a lot of them, when they felt validated that I was seeing beyond, you want to come to my class, I want to know, why do you want to come to my class? And I'd say, what is stopping you from reaching your goals?
Because that's really important.
Let's break it down. Yeah,
that's really important. Not just what you're doing, but how you feel about what you're doing. Why are you going? Because as you said in the beginning, there is a big connection between the mind and the body, right? And if you can do all the things right, but if you're not thinking properly, then it's not gonna work as effectively as you would like it to work.
That's right. And there's this phrase, and I've contemplated a few times from my own journey, and it's oh my gosh, what is it? You fake it till you make it. And I flip-flopped a little bit on that over the years, and I said, you shouldn't fake it till you make it. You shouldn't have to fake it. But at the same time, if you're trying on something new, it's going to feel fake because it's new. It's out of your comfort zone. Like it's a new job. It's a new exercise class. It's a new diet. It's a new anything new that's out of your comfort zone is going to feel inauthentic and fake. But there's a deeper knowing in you that brought you to the thing. So you do keep doing it. Trust the process. Keep doing the thing until it becomes a new norm. And this is where the neurology comes in, the neuroplasticity.
Absolutely.
You keep digging that brand new ditch that you're not used to doing. It takes blood, sweat, and tears. And you're going to feel doubt because your body, your nervous system is wanting to go to the route that's most familiar.
Yeah. I remember reading a book a number of years ago, and Tony Robbins would say it, and it was Brian Tracy, I think, they came up with takes 21 days to change a habit. And there was a doctor that actually did some studies on it, and he would do studies on people who had surgeries, like having a limb removed. And then he would follow them for a certain period of time to find out when did that lost limb, when did they feel normal? When did they feel comfortable with it? And they found that the results of getting used to something new in your life, whether that's a different exercise regime, no matter what it is, takes much longer than 21 days. So, when people go to the gym and they take on a new membership, and after 2 or 3 weeks, they figure, well, I should be feeling better by now. And if they're not, then they tend to quit. And people don't realize that it's not the end of you feeling better. It's the journey that it takes to get you there. Is what's most important. Is the process, right? Pam,
what you pick up along the way.
And you don't. The other part of the study was that they talked about it's okay to fail along the way, because failure doesn't define when you whether you get to your the result that you want. It's the meaning that you put to that failure. If you don't look at it as failure, you looked at, okay, what did I learn from the situation? Because people fall off the wagon. You know, I've talked to clients who wanted to lose some weight, and you know, they'd say, I'd like to lose 20 pounds, but I can't. And you know, my funny comment is, well, have you ever accidentally eaten anything? You know, so you do well, you do 3 or 4 weeks really well. You go to a party at Christmas time, you eat a chocolate, and then you say, oh, that's it. I'm shot, and then you eat the whole box of chocolate. So people have to understand that just because you fall off the wagon, you don't define 5 seconds or 10 seconds of indiscretion with a month of really good hard work. You just pick yourself up, figure out what you did wrong, and then move on and continue on. So you've been doing this a long time, Pam. What are your feelings on the state of health and wellness in the province? Are we doing enough? Are we not doing enough? Is it attitude? Is it mindset? What's going on? Because we have a fairly problem with obesity and
Yes.
fitness.
Yes.
What?
I have a lot to say on that.
Go right ahead.
Well, you know, I like to speak from my personal, you know, opinion, and which comes from my own personal journey. And I so clearly recall that when I first started, you know, exercising and dropping excess weight, the people, most of the people that I knew and met thought that I was becoming unhealthy. That has become, seeing lean people here in the province is something that's a bit foreign. You know, you travel elsewhere and you see that it's more a norm, but here I think that it comes a lot from our history. It comes a lot from our geography, where these mindsets come into play. We are an island, isolation. We have, you know, unpredictable weather, frigid temperatures, wind, industry and economy unpredictable. We come from a feast or famine type hereditary.
Yeah.
So that is rooted in us.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, you see it even during COVID. When something is coming, we pack everything in. We are prepared. And that comes from the fishery, from anything. We're so used to that feast or famine. So we have that in us, whether we realize it or not. And I think when it comes to you know, one extreme to the other, you're going to find something as a coping mechanism to bridge the gap.
Sure. Yeah.
And that comes from what's available, what we know, what we're educated on. So you will see in these type of environments, excess use of alcohol, excess use of food. You know, when it's not been your norm to exercise, I mean, our heritage has had us do lots of hard physical work outside. And I feel that has been a great balance for those hearty, home cooked meals. But our society and our way of being has changed. So, and then of course, the influx of convenience foods. And the changes, just how households are run now, because mothers are going out and working.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there's so many different changing factors and elements that are going in here. So I see that we tend to swing from one extreme to the next. But education is coming. You know, we tend to be the last ones to receive and get on trends and to increase things, but it is coming. So it's slow, but it's coming. With all that said, there's so much information that is available. We know what people are doing in China as soon as it happens. You know, so it's up to us really as people, because we need to be our own health advocates. I strongly believe that the system, of course, is what's going to implement and make, overall change, but we really have to be our own health advocates. What we do, and this comes right back to what Meridian was founded on, what we do for ourselves, in our family, in our home, is what is going to impact. And we cannot wait for someone else to come and put that on our lap and bring it to us. We need to go out and find it. And the journey is exactly what is going to build strength, resilience, and appreciation for what you do. So I feel that when we all share information, and now we can share information globally, we're coming together as a community, we all help each other, like this program, we're sharing tools, we're sharing perception, we're sharing different ways of looking at things. We know what's out there and what's available. I think when we work together and we take a stand to go out and look, and educate ourselves on the benefits and of course, understand why we might be finding it hard.
Sure.
It helps us to take a little bit of the onus and the guilt off of ourselves. And there's where the meditative approach comes in. We can watch and look around and get a grander picture of things. But it does all boil down to we have to want it. And when we understand that new things are going to be difficult, then we can put in support systems for ourselves.
Sure, absolutely.
So that when the novelty wears off something, or we get into a time of year when, we're not getting as much sunshine and it affects our moods and our depressions, we have accountability. We still nurture ourselves. We still have something that we're working on. It may not be the fastest run, but maybe we can get out for a walk in the snow with our dog. So as long as we take those steps forward, I think change is coming.
I think the most important question for our listeners to ask themselves is, how do they feel about their direction in life? And if they don't feel good or comfortable about their direction in life, then do something about it. That's really the fundamentals. It's not about, people think there's something wrong with you because you've lost a lot of weight, or, it's basically comes down to that feeling of knowing that you're on the journey of becoming the best version of yourself. And that's why I talk to experts like yourself, and I talk to other experts who are here to help people get on, to identify, and to keep on that journey of wellness, so they feel better about themselves. Pam, I didn't mention any of your certifications at the beginning, but do you want to just go through?
My gosh,
can you do this? Can you do this in less than a half an hour? just quickly go over.
Okay. So I'll just start from the beginning. And I've kind of gotten away a little bit from the personal training side, but it's still there and I do implement it. So there's personal training. Yin yoga was that's my signature class. That's a different type of yoga. It's saved my life on many levels. And then there's meditation. There's yoga nidra. There's Reiki. Children and family yoga meditation. I just finished my COVID project, which I had planned before the pandemic even happened with another studio. I was supposed to be in Cuba learning this. And then I pivoted because I still wanted to do it.
Sure.
So I kind of did this backwards. What I just finished just this weekend was my 200-hour Hatha yoga.
So that's your newest program.
That's the newest training and certification that I have, and I have implemented this into the newest offering of Meridian. So, I mean, there's lots more things, but those are the main, I guess, on paper certifications that I have, and I'm a lifelong learner. I absolutely love it.
We have to be.
So, and learning from others. But I want to touch back on what you said about the feeling that you have. to cultivate and to tune into your feelings, it can be the scariest thing you could ever do. And I think that's why we go to excess.
Sure.
Whether it's
easy.
Spending money, whether it's sex, whether it's like whatever the heck it is, we go there because we haven't quite learned how to handle what's going on inside. So again, back to the nervous system. And so where you came from, what your habits may have been, the people that have surrounded you, you know, nobody comes from, and I had to learn this too. It was a big thing. Nobody comes from the most perfect family that knows everything, that has all their shit together, has all the education in every possible area. So it's up to us, because of that feeling, to listen, like, I want to be the best version of myself, or I want to change, to seek somebody who knows about that. And I think that that's part of our history too, and that mindset, as you only go to those supports when something is really wrong. Absolutely. Or something is really bad. But we need to normalize, and it's happening. We need to normalize going to counseling, going to a support group, talking to your doctor, doing all this stuff, because nobody can go it alone. That's the reason why the human race has lasted as long as it has. It's because connection from others, it's community. Even our immune system is reduced without connection. We need connection.
There was a longevity study done a number of years ago, and they followed people for 50, 60 years, and they wanted to identify the biggest contributors to longevity. What is it that some people live longer than other people? And the common ones were high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, your diet, your exercise, and they listed a bunch of them. But the two biggest ones, the two biggest, most important contributors to longevity are: one is a healthy, loving relationship, and number two was social interaction, was having good lifelong friends. Those were the two biggest contributors to longevity.
Yeah, so that's connection.
Hence to your point, connection, right?
You need connection, and connection is different than attachment.
Yeah, well, sure it is. Yeah, you can be attached but not connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So having, we have to make the decisions. Nobody can take us to the gym and hold our hand.
Right.
We need to cultivate that ourselves. But no man can have the best outcome alone. And it's too much of a burden to know everything, or expect ourselves to know everything about everything. So that when we can connect with others who know about, or even if you don't even know how to articulate what's going on, start. You're worth the chance. Vulnerability is a strength, and it's very challenging, especially, I don't want to sound stereotypical, but especially for men.
Oh, absolutely. And, without a doubt. No question.
Yeah. And I've been finding that with my yin yoga class, and I guess because I also have that bit of a bodybuilder type, strong, you can be both. So I feel like I've kind of bridged a bit of the gap between stay-at-home mom, the gym persona, as well as the yoga and holistic side, because you don't have to be just one. That's a perception. That's a label. You can be whatever the heck you want to be.
Absolutely.
So you need all of those things, but once you allow yourself to try on something new, or just take that, it's infinite possibilities.
Pam, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'm going to be traveling and speaking on in greater venues. Lots of partnerships with other people. There's a book that I am working on. It's been something, my story with lots more details than what we've shared today. I'm also working on a course, the Meridian Mastermind. So the sky's the limit.
So you didn't hesitate when I asked you that question. You didn't hesitate to give me an answer. And so again,
No.
our listeners, it is really important for you to have a really good idea of where you're going to be in 5 years' time. Because if you don't have a good idea, you will probably wind up somewhere where you really don't want to be. Pam, great, excellent conversation. Can you leave our listeners with a tidbit, something, a piece of advice that they can use right now?
Absolutely. The best thing that you can do for yourself is to reach out, notice where your comfort zone begins and ends, tune into yourself and reach out, do something for you that you never thought you could do. It doesn't have to be climbing a mountain, but it can be a step forward. So tune into yourselves. You are worth it. The only limitations that we have are the ones that we place on ourselves. And limitations and barriers can be broken. They can be broken.
So identify, as Pamela said, identify the predominant thoughts that you have in your mind. Are you constantly talking yourself out of things? Are you constantly saying things like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't think I can do that? And once you can identify those things that are holding you back, then there are people like Pamela who are certainly here to help you. Vulnerability, reaching out, is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. And every single one of us at some point in our lives needs to lean on somebody, needs to say, look, I need a bit of help to get me through this. And there are a lot of people in this province.
Show me a possible route forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, Pamela, thanks very much. It was a wonderful conversation, and certainly at any time, if you want to come back and give us some more of your expertise and knowledge, I'm sure our listeners would love to hear more from Pamela Martin McDonald and Meridian Health and Wellness.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be here to share and talk. I'm available to see in my private clinic over on Duffy Place. These are for one-on-ones in person or online. I also do corporate presentations, even with, I love even being with the kids with sparks and brownies to people at their lunch groups at work. And with the latest launch of my wellness program, it has been a full circle of all the modalities and things that I've been learning and offering over the years. It's a place to come home to. And it's every day there's we have Meditation Monday, Tap In Tuesday, which is your Hatha Yoga, Wellness Wednesday. That is a place where I'm going to spotlight, and I have been spotlighting people who I've met along my journey who have inspired me. And they share how they've gotten themselves out of the hole and how they've found their strength. Thursday, there's yin yoga, and Friday is our pep talk, where we talk about all the things that we did versus what we did not do.
Excellent. And that's a good point. Anyway, Pamela, thank you very much. And hopefully we'll get together again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.